Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 90 of Yuddha Kanda. In the previous chapter, we have seen the fierce fight that is happening between Indrajith and Indrajith and Lakshmana, in which neither of them were ready to lose anything, and both are throwing several shafts at each other, wounding each other. Seeing the desperate struggle between man and the Titan, who resembled two elephants with broken tusks, desirous of overcoming each other, Ravana's valiant brother, curious to behold the outcome of the duel, stood in the forefront of the battle, his excellent bow in his hand. Standing erect, he stretched his great bow, letting fly long and pointed arrows on the Titans, and those shafts of burning impact falling thick and fast tore the demons to pieces as a thunderbolt rives the high mountains. Then, in their turn, Vibhishana's followers, the foremost of Vanara warriors, arming themselves with maces, swords, and harpoons, struck the valiant Titans in the fight, and surrounded by his companions, Vibhishana resembled a full grown elephant in the midst of young tuskers pressing close to him. In order to encourage the monkeys, whose dearest wish was to slaughter their enemies, Vibhishana, the foremost of the Titans, conversant with what was fitting to the occasion, uttered these pertinent words to them, saying, Indrajitha is the sole support of the king of Titans, Ravana, and this is all what is left of his army. Why, therefore, O foremost of the monkeys, have you relaxed your efforts? This wicked wretch being slain in the forefront of battle, all the Titan warriors, save Ravana, have been slain. The valiant Prahasta is dead, and all powerful Nikumbha also. Kumbhakarna, Kumbha, Dhumraksha, Jambumali, Mahamali, Tikshnavega, Ashaniprabha, Suptagna, Yagnakopa, Vajradamshtra, Sampati, Vikata, Harigna, Tapana, Mainda, Prakasha, and as well as Prajagna and Jangha, Agniketu, Durdarsha, Rashmiketu, who was full of energy, Vidyujihva, Dijihva, Akampana, Suparshva, Shakramali, Kampana, Devantaka, and Narantaka, who was full of valor. By slaying all these countless and exceedingly powerful titans, you have you have already crossed the ocean, and now it is for you but to cross a hoof mark of a cow. Attack the titans who still remain, O monkeys! All these warriors whose strength has filled them with pride have perished in the fight. It is not fitting for me to slay my father's son, slay my brother's son, but laying aside all pity for Rama's sake, I will put an end to my brother's offspring. Yet, though I desire to slay him, tears fill my eyes and deter me. The long-armed Lakshmana will best know how to subdue him. O monkeys, closing in upon him, place yourselves so that you may wipe out those who stand near to him. Thus, incited by the exceedingly illustrious Titan, the foremost of the monkeys demonstrated their delight by lashing their tails, and thereafter those tigers among the Plavangamas, amid repeated clapping of hands, emitted every kind of cry, like peacocks on beholding the clouds. Jambavan too was surrounded by his leaders and their forces, and they assailed the Titans with their nails and teeth and blows from stones. Thereafter, the Lord of the Bears decimated the Titans, who, banishing all fear, full of vigor, overwhelmed him with countless missiles such as darts, axes, sharp pikes, lances, and spears, striking him their exterminator in the fray. Whereupon a formidable conflict ensued between monkeys and titans, like unto the fearful contest between the gods and the asuras, fired with wrath. And Hanuman, enraged, broke off a mountain peak and, having caused Lakshmana to dismount, slew the Titans in their thousands. Meanwhile, after a fearful combat with his maternal uncle, the valiant Indrajitha, slayer of his enemies, threw himself afresh on Lakshmana, and a desperate duel arose between those two heroes amid the general conflict. When those valiant warriors let loose a rain of missiles with which they overwhelmed each other, and in the twinkling of an eye they disappeared under the hail of arrows as the glowing sun and the brightness of the moon under clouds at the end of summer. Their movements were so swift that one was unable to perceive when they took up their bows and stretched them, or exchanged hands, or loosed their shafts, or selected or separated them, or when they closed their fists, or took aim and launched a succession of arrows with force, filling the sky on every side, nor was any object distinguishable. Lakshmana struck Ravani, and Ravani in his turn struck Lakshmana, and a general confusion arose between them during the combat. Barbed and pointed shafts, loosed by those two warriors, filled the space in the heavens, as it were, and was those wetted darts that fell in hundreds spread over the cardinal points and the intermediate regions, so that everything was engulfed in darkness, and extreme terror took possession of all beings. Then the orb of a thousand rays sank behind the Asta mountain, enveloped in shadow, and torrents of blood flowed that day, and fearful beasts of prey emitted full throated howls. May good fortune befall the worlds, murmured the great rishis, while the Gandharvas and Charanas, panic stricken, fled away. Meanwhile, Saumitri with four arrows pierced the four black steeds, comparison in gold of that Indra among the Titans, and with the aid of a sharp, yellow, shining, and terrible Bhalla, furnished with beautiful plumes, resembling Mahendra's thunderbolt, resounding like a clang of the gauntlet, hurled with full force, that mighty son of Raghu severed the head of the charioteer from his shoulders while he circled round. Thereupon his charioteer slain, Mandodari's valiant son, seized the reins of the chariot himself, taking up his bow, and it was marvelous to behold him driving his chariot as he fought. Yet, while his hands were occupied with the steeds, his adversary struck him, that is, Lakshmana, struck him with pointed darts, and while he attended to his bow, the horses were pierced with arrows. Then Indrajitha, even though his horses were riddled with darts, caused them to circle bravely under the arrows loosed by Saumitri with exceeding lightness of hand. Seeing his charioteer slain in the fight, however, the son of Ravana loosed his chest for combat and grew anxious, and observing the Titan's countenance change, the monkey leaders began to acclaim Lakshmana in the height of joy. Thereafter, Pramathi, Rabhasa, Sharabha, and Gandhamadana, eager to bring matters to a close, struck a mighty blow, and those foremost of monkeys, endowed with extreme vigor and remarkable valor, with a rapid bound, threw themselves on the four magnificent steeds of Indrajitha. Under the weight of those monkeys, who resembled mountains, the horses threw up torrents of blood, and thereafter crushed and mangled, fell lifeless to the earth. Having slain the Titan steed and shattered his chariot, the monkeys with a further bound returned to Lakshmana's side. Springing from his car, the horses having perished, and his charioteer being slain, Indrajitha caused a shower of darts to fall on Saumitri, whereupon, like unto Mahendra, Lakshmana overwhelmed Indrajitha with shafts, and he fighting on foot, his excellent steeds being dead, loosed countless wetted and marvelous darts on Saumitri in the fight. Thus come to the end chapter 90 of Yuddha Kanda in Ramayana. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಶಾರದಾ ದೇವಿ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರ ಪುರವಾಸಿನಿ ತ್ವಾಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾದಾನಂಚ ದೇಹಿ ಮೇ. ಗುಡ್ ಬೈ.